It's any driver's dream to win a Sprint Cup race, but to do it on your home track is a whole other story. After a wild day in Vegas, Kyle Busch wins in his own backyard. It's his 13th career win, but this certainly is a victory that he will never forget. It's his first one this season, and he tallied it one race earlier than he did last year before he went on an 8-race tear. Well, these guys are just mesmerized over here with Kyle Busch's victory today. I'm John Roberts, he's Jimmy Spencer, Kenny Wallace, and we're in the Neon Garage here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and a very, very popular victory here for Kyle Busch.
First, I got to say, this Neon Garage, this victory lane is absolutely the greatest thing I've ever seen in all of motorsports. It's just the fans around, I'm mesmerized. Kyle Busch starts on the pole, wins the race, his hometown. Kenny, you can't get any bigger than this.
And there's so much drama. Here he is getting out of the car. Like you said, Jimmy Spencer, he sat on the pole, but he had motor problems. He had to start dead last. This driver, Kyle Busch, starts 43rd and wins the race.
Yeah, this was the first time ever that a pole sitter has won here at Las Vegas, but was Kyle really a pole sitter? He won the pole, but he had to go to the back of the field.
I think that's for debate. I think that's for the AM talk shows. So, to me, yes, he won the pole, but he did not win from the pole because he started last. So, debate it all you want.
I agree with
And that's what we're here for, right? We can debate all night long, but you cannot debate the fact that Kyle Busch has picked up exactly where he left off last year by winning races. 21 races he won in the all three top series last year, but now he has won 3 altogether. But this very important one, Jimmy, in the Sprint Cup Series.
Well, it's very important, Johnny. You know, let's face it. These guys said last year, Carl Edwards, Jimmy Johnson, and Kyle Busch, we need to get wins. This is 10 bonus points going into this chase if he can get into this top 12. I'm sure he's in the top 12 right now with this secure win today.
Hey, and listen, there's a lot going on about Kyle Busch. There's people talking about people wanting him to drive in Formula One, and like JR said, look, Kyle Busch has already won the truck race at California. He won the nationwide race in California. Now he's won a cup race. So here we are, 3rd race into the series, and he's already won in all 3 divisions. Jeff Gordon said on network TV, on the Fox network, Jeff Gordon said this, perhaps the best driver I have ever seen.
Oh, there's the brother.
There's brother Kurt. That's a cool deal, man. Kurt's very proud of his younger brother there, holding up the reins of Las Vegas, man. They're both born and raised here.
But once again, Jeff Gordon said that perhaps this is the greatest driver he's ever seen, Kyle Busch. I believe that's exactly what he said on TV.
When it comes to talent and winning races, that's exactly what Kyle Busch has done, and he started earlier this year than he did last year in the Sprint Cup Series. Let's take a quick look at the highlights. We'll have much more in-depth highlights for you later as we see the green flag wave on this one now. Kyle Busch was supposed to start in the position number 1 on the front row with his brother Kurt Busch, but that didn't happen, had to go to the back of the field, and therefore Jimmy Johnson, a guy who had won 3 times in this race before, inherited that pole position to start. Now, how about this? Matt Kenseth was going to make history with his 3rd win in a row. That would not happen. He was the first car out of the race as that engine gave way. Another Roush Fenway car, another blow up here for David Reagan. His day was done. And then 2 races in a row, Mark the Kid Martin from Batesville, Arkansas, had trouble with the Hendrick Motorsports engine. So
it says Pop-Tarts.
Yeah, we'll talk about, well, the Pop-Tarts were cooked at this part. They were toasting. So 18 goes for the lead late on the underside of Clint Boyer. And that was the time he hit the radio and he said goodbye, Gracie, because he was exactly right. He said goodbye to the field as Kyle Busch gets his first Sprint Cup win this season. It's his 18th career, actually 13th career win, and that's a lucky number here in Vegas as Kyle Busch gets the victory. And boy, did he do a lot of celebrating afterwards, because we heard somebody over a radio say, hey man, if it's not the Daytona 500, for any one of the Busch brothers, this would be the biggest race for them to win, this one here at Las Vegas.
I mean, it's a dream come true. Anybody always says to me, hey, Kenny, what's the race that you want to win? I'm like, either the Southern 500, Daytona, or my hometown in St. Louis, Missouri. So this is probably one of his biggest wins ever at his hometown.
And I think it's great for the city of Vegas. Finally, all the casinos, the whole town, just the police department, everybody got behind Las Vegas Motor Speedway. We saw a great crowd today. A hometown favorite won this race. What a great ending, man.
And a lot of strange things happened along the way. Some of the best in the business made mistakes on the racetrack today, and also some of the best equipment in the business gave way today as well. We're going to talk to Kyle Busch in just a moment, and we'll take you from the green flag to the checkered flag here on Victory Lane.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge, Recreate, Hibernate, and brought to you in part by Ask.com. Get the answers to all your racing questions at Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR.
Here in the Neon Garage at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, hometown hero Kyle Busch is celebrating what will no doubt be one of the biggest wins of his career. He hopes it's the first of many to come, because as successful as the Busch brothers have been at this in the sport, they had never taken a race away from this Sprint Cup track here. But right across the street here, they cut their racing teeth on a racetrack called the Bull Ring. It's a dirt track right next to them. So now we're going to take you back to the beginning of this race, show you a little bit more in-depth highlights. We'll start out with lap number 1 as the green flag waved. And, you know, Jimmy, you said it a moment ago, this Shelby 427, you had a huge crowd and a great day. It was just Chamber of Commerce stuff for Las Vegas.
Man, they've done a great job. You know, Carl Shelby, the icon that he is, now naming the race after him for the great man that he is and the great guy that he's done so much. And, you know, the crowd saw a great race, great start here. And immediately we see a lot of shuffling, Kenny, going on 2-3 wide racing. And there's the first crash into the wall.
Yeah, Brad Keselowski, Nationwide Series driver, making one start, trying to save it, right rear flat. He had a wreck yesterday in the Nationwide Series, but he's having a really tough start to the year. He's wrecked out in 3 Nationwide races.
Let's cue Digger. We're going to see what the Digger cam had to say on this one. Look at this, a great view.
Great shot, Johnny. Watch it. It's right here. Watch it, Digger!
I used to think that was just a very short, very brave cameraman, but I guess it's been Digger the whole time. Let's go on board with Denny Hamlin in the number 11, and there on the top side of the track, we see another look.
But Denny Hamlin gets in with his right front. It looks like he couldn't see really well or whatever. He just ran in, and he punches the car in front of him, does a lot of damage to his right front.
Now, the hood was up on Matt Kenseth's car, and this was quite a sight to see, because remember, Matt Kenseth shared some history by winning the first 2 races of the season. He was going for 3.
And you know what's incredible about this? On our morning show, NASCAR Race Day, we said we are going to see motor problems. They're turning these things a lot of RPMs.
All right, so trouble for Matt Kenseth. He gets back out on the racetrack, way back in the field, and then the smoke comes out, something you don't want to see.
Well, this is very uncharacteristic for the Roush-Yates engine combination. And here's your point leader, the guy that's won the last 2 races, first retiree of the day. This is not a good sight for Matt.
You know, they like to say it in sports, you go from the penthouse to the outhouse pretty quick, from 0 to 0, and that's what happened to Matt Kenseth. And here's what happened to Todd Bodine.
Well, Todd's a great truck series driver, and me and Todd have been talking about how much can you yaw these cars out. So wow, look at there. I mean, that was that Elliott Sadler?
Yeah, he ruined Elliott Sadler's whole day right there. And here is the Tracker Boats car. Kenny, you had this problem in a Nationwide race, an axle coming out. I wonder if that's something that they need to look into.
Yeah, the left rear axle on my U.S. Border Patrol Nationwide car at California came out. The same deal, a spacing problem with the bolts.
The most successful driver at this racetrack amongst active drivers is Jimmy Johnson. 3 victories here. Matt Kenseth led the most laps here, but Jimmy's got the most victories, and it's not uncommon to see him out front.
And a lot of changes going on here, Johnny. A lot of different guys finding different lines, but this is the one I want to show you fans now. Here is Jamie McMurray. He gets a little nudge by Logano. Nothing Logano's fault here, Kenny, because Jamie was moving down. If you saw the car on the outside, there's a car on the outside. Look at this, Kenny. What a save.
I got to tell you, fans, something. This is the greatest save I have seen in years. I don't even know if we have more views. They've done a great job, but if you back to the middle of the corner, he ran this thing sideways like he was at Eldora up on the cushion.
Great job by Jamie McMurray to save the car, but nothing David Reagan could do when the engine expired.
No, you know, he really wasn't running that strong, but for him to have an engine failure, 2 of the Yates-Roush combination already gone. I'm wondering what the Biff and the rest of them are thinking.
Now take a look at this. David Reutimann, they raised his hood on pit lane, but as we get a little bit further on in the highlights, you're going to see this team bounce back in a big way.
That's a TRD motor, so we're saying to ourselves, what are these guys doing? Is there something happening with these parts these engine builders are using?
2 of the best in the business, Kevin Harvick and Greg Biffle.
Well, the Biff, I picked him to win. He goes by California native Kevin Harvick. Looks like the Biff is going to set sail. And look at how he goes through the corners. He's rolling. Harvick fights back on this high side. The high side was a good lane today.
Yeah, 2-3 wide racing. Now here you go, the 12 car spinning out of David Stremme. You know, he just gets up high, Kenny, gets the car. You got to run these cars on the neutral side to free, and we can't see nothing.
What's it like driving through that, guys? Cold trick.
Now look at this. This is Carl Edwards that gets into David Stremme. Stremme minded his own business. It looks like Carl Edwards gets in the bumps. There are bumps right there. He gets up into Stremme, and Stremme does not wreck. Great job.
Yeah, David did a great job there. Same like McMurray. Look at this. He keeps this car off the wall, does a great job getting it back down in the safe way. The rest of the guys, what a super job by all these other guys to miss. You know, first of all, they missed David Stremme there, and they also missed Jamie McMurray. Great driving.
And got to say a lot about Penske Racing because they had a fantastic weekend altogether. Justin Allgaier in the Nationwide Series had a great run, and these guys had a good run going. It just didn't equal the Sprint Cup win as well. But probably the most significant thing we saw in that set of highlights, guys, was the fact that Matt Kenseth's bid to become the first driver ever to win 3 in a row went up in smoke and went up smoke very early.
Well, you know, we're going to find out later in the show. Maybe we'll get some more information. But we got Matt the Brat Kenseth blows up. We got David Reagan blows up. Now, I thought I seen fire coming out from underneath the right front of Carl Edwards on the white flag lap. There's controversy. They're saying maybe Carl Edwards ran out of gas. Regardless, 2 motors blowed up at Roush. Maybe Carl Edwards will have to see, but, you know, they're turning these things 95, 9,600 RPMs, and they're not living.
I was in the garage area talking to these guys, and a lot of the crew chiefs were telling me, a lot of RPMs, Jimmy, a lot of RPMs. NASCAR mandates the gear fans that these guys have to race, so I'm sure they're going to look at it.
Engine builders have to push it, and sometimes that equals trouble under the hood. But you know what? We hadn't seen this kind of trouble in a long time. So we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we're going to try to get Kyle to come over here and talk to us and bring the championship belt. Want to be part of the excitement at the track? Go to NASCAR section of SpeedTV.com and select NASCAR on Speed to send us your email. NASCAR on Speed, be there. If you want to say something to Jimmy Spencer, that's the way to do it. Just go right to SpeedTV.com and let us know what you think. Right now, we're thinking Kyle Busch got to be one of the happiest guys on the planet. He won at his home racetrack for the first time. Now we're going to take you through the rest of the highlights from the point we left off with 100 laps in all the way down to the rest of the race. And it seemed like you didn't know if this race was ever going to end because there were so many caution flags towards the end. Let's go back to the racing action and pick it up with a lot of good cars out of the race, a lot of good cars up front, and a lot of other ones in the middle of the pack just trying to hold on as we had so many different strategies being played out and so many different agendas on the racetrack. So let's go back to the green flag racing. And again, it just really looks beautiful. It was a great day today, wasn't it?
And you know,
can't say it enough.
No, Johnny, and this track really widening out. And here you go. These guys, another great job. 42. What is going on there, you wonder? And it looks to me like it's low air pressure, the car bottoming out. He runs into somebody with the left front, and as you see here, the left front damages. And notice there, Clint Boyer does a great job saving his car and missing this, Kenny.
And I got to tell you, these guys, they think people should know they're out there. Look, you can't always know they're out there. They're 4 wide. In the nationwide race yesterday, Denny Hamlin snuck up on my outside on a restart, and these guys are brave. They're thinking people can see them, and they can't.
Look at this.
Woo, I love this.
And the fans go, are these guys driving 180 mile an hour?
For the lead.
For the lead. This is just absolutely incredible racing, Johnny.
That was a good display of driving right there among some of the best in the business. You know, Kurt Busch looked like he had a great shot of winning this. He started on the outside of row number 1. Here is the Biff, the number 16. Ken Wallace told us he was going to win this race today, and he had a good shot at it for most of the day.
Yeah, he's leading the race right here, fans. Nationwide race yesterday. And like you say, Kenny, he has got his car into the racetrack on the white line, getting it done.
The 2 started to slow, and we heard reports that he may be 1 cylinder down.
Yep.
Well, you know, here we go once again, turning a lot of RPMs. Penske Racing, they're the innovator of RPMs. Some 10 years ago with Rusty Wallace, my brother, they started turning these high RPMs. And look at this. Here we go again, high RPMs, Jimmy Spencer.
I'm wondering if it has anything to do with the Pop-Tarts on the front of that car. It really doesn't, fans. But this is devastating for Mark Martin and the CarQuest Pop-Tart Chevrolet because 2 in a row. Here he is just heading into the corner. Bam, motor gives out, Kenny. Worst place that it can happen. Right there at the end of the straightaway.
And might I say,
done.
Yeah, the crew chief going like this. Now, here's what I worry about Mark the Kid Martin from Batesville, Arkansas. When we go into that 6th race of the year, Mark's trailer most likely will be parked around the 30th in the points. Mark's going to have to overcome that like Tony Stewart did this year with his new team.
You know, the 16 was running out of fuel at the time, so that was a bad break for Mark the Kid Martin. Good break for Greg Irwin and Greg Biffle.
Yeah, and you know, Johnny, this starts the precedence here. You're going to start seeing this. No tires, 2 tires, 4 tires, fuel only. Some guys stay out. Really, it starts to develop what we're going to do for strategy.
And Kenny, you said in the nationwide race, you got 2 tires. It worked great.
And I'm going to tell you what, in our meeting this morning, I told Spence, I said, man, I put right sides on my nationwide car, and it flew, man. And a lot of these guys, now look at this. Reagan Smith in the 78 car. Whoop. Oh, bam, bam. And Spence, that car is so strong, he come back to finish like 18th.
Good job.
Tough break for the number 43 and driver Reed Sorensen.
Yeah, you know, these guys have struggled. We heard AJ and Reed on our show say, we don't know what to have. Theirs just plain got behind on the steering, got loose. He couldn't correct it. Wham, into the wall, parks it for the day. So, you know, it's obvious Reed and them got some work to do.
All right, so tough break for Reed, but watch the driving behind him by the number 9. Casey Kane avoided several accidents today. Let's go on board with Casey and see some really good driving here.
Yeah, you know, you got to give Casey a lot of credit. That's his teammate, Reed Sorensen, right in front of him. Awesome job by Casey Kane to Budweiser Dodge.
All right, so as Casey Kane did that several times, a lot of drivers had to avoid a lot of different race cars as we had a whole lot of wrecking going on. Tough break for Eric Almirola.
And they're saying they're only going to run Eric Amarillo in the first 5 to 8 races. So Eric right now, you know, he's struggling, hoping to keep that ride. Now watch this replay.
Now look at this, fans. You talk about bragging on Casey. You talk about a hell of a job. That is an awesome bit of driving. Now the rest of those guys did a great job also avoiding Casey.
Teammates, door to door, battling for the lead.
Hey, this is Jeff Gordon's California car. They washed it out here. They repacked the wheel bearings. This is the same car that he runs second in California with. And Jimmy Spencer's at this point, I thought that car's going to pay off. It's going to win.
All right, let's check out the bad luck here for Michael Waltrip as he gets too high on the racetrack, goes for a spin. We remind you that Michael Waltrip came into this race in the top 10 in points. There you see him back in the wall. Michael's doing everything he can to hold on to that one. And the next view we're going to see here in a moment is from our old buddy Digger.
Oh, here comes my man Digger. What a view Digger has of this Michael Waltrip. Just gets really high on the racetrack, loses his grip, does enough damage that it ruins his day. So he probably drops out of the top 10 in points, guys.
And let me say something. Here we go again. The 11 gets loose, gets up high. But this outside, these guys could not burn the outside groove in. The outside groove was not there. You had to go inch by inch. And usually those guys can go foot at a time. 11 loose, looser. Now watch this. Marbles, done.
And you're talking about some very good top-notch championship caliber drivers that are having trouble.
Look at the 9 car missed that. Look at this 96. Look at these guys miss this. Now here's one.
This is cool to see.
This is
Bobby Labonte.
Fans. No, it's not. Ask.com Ford taking the position on Jimmy Johnson's second spot. New country heard from here, fans. That Yates Ask.com driven by Bobby Labonte. Awesome job today by those guys.
Yeah, Bobby Labonte's got a pretty good record on this 1.5-mile oval type of a racetrack, and so does Jeff Burton. 31 goes out for the lead.
Yeah, but you know, think about this Caterpillar Chevrolet. Terrible, tragic weekend last weekend. Here he is passing the 48 for the lead.
And I got to tell you something, that 31, it looked like it was like sideways, but they got these rear ends in them that make the car track sideways.
Take a look at this. You don't see this too often. Jeff Gordon overshoots the pits, comes in too hot, flat spots a tire, and then the tire gives way.
And you know, Jeff Gordon, you heard Stevie Letarte say, pit, when that 48 pits, I think it caught Jeff Gordon off guard, going a little fast. That mistake blows the tire out, rips the fender off, leading the race. You know what? Ends Jeff's day.
The yellow comes out, and as Walter Sobchak once said in the Big Lebowski, over the line. Jimmy Johnson was over the line, so he had to back up. Caution comes out. Jimmy goes a lap down.
And I got to tell you, these intermediate tires, these tires that we run on these mile-and-a-half tracks, they're hard to predict where they're going to stop. You go to Martinsville, Richmond, the little, grippy tires, you know where they're going to stop. This is a fight for the lead. Kyle Busch, number 18, takes the lead away from Jeff Burton.
I'm going to tell you something, fans. Remember, 43rd position for this 18. This is the year for them guys. They made some mistakes last year, still won 21 races this guy has. He didn't make no mistakes on that move, Johnny.
There's the Ask.com car. Bobby Labonte had to slow it down. Jimmy Johnson can't get in his pit.
And the bad part about that, Bobby Labonte thinks he's going to win the race. Comes in second, takes on only 2 tires, and goes out 6th because of that.
Here comes Kyle Busch for the lead. He's got to chase down Clint Boyer, who stayed out, and he has the ponies, the skill, and the car to do it.
When you got fresh tires, you got Kyle Busch driving that baby. I'm telling you, I'm like Jeff Gordon. Right now, I don't believe there's anybody more determined than Kyle Busch. And let me tell you what, fans, he gets up on the wheel and drives it. Here he goes past Jeff Burton, right to the bottom of the racetrack. That Toyota is handling, and it won't be long, fans. In a matter of a few seconds, watch this power move to the inside of the 33, takes the lead.
And then it was good night Gracie after that, because Kyle Busch, you know, he's got fresher tires than the guys he's battling with. He's got the position, and also he has the burning desire to win on this home racetrack.
Well, and the thing about Kyle is he wants to win everywhere, but you're right, Johnny. Look at the crew. Very
loves it.
Steve Addington and the boys. But Kyle definitely, when you get him in a position to win, Johnny, he's got something special that just says, you know what, I'm going to get this thing done.
And there goes Jimmy Johnson. Again, you don't see this often.
Jimmy Johnson was coming back from that miscue on pit road. He went high, wide, and handsome, and once I said, you cannot get it done. Now let's take a look at Carl Edwards. Do you see?
That's a blown engine.
That's a blown motor, not out of gas. Fire out from underneath of it. So
3 Yates motors.
Yeah, 3 Yates motors blow up.
White flag is out, and there's just going to be no stopping Kyle Busch. He has too big of a lead, comes around and takes the checkers for his first Sprint Cup win this season, third in NASCAR's 3 Top Series. And now as he has a special celebration to do here at the hometown track, he's going to savor this win. And as soon as we take a quick break, when we come back, we're going to have Kyle Busch himself with us here to continue this celebration. Stick around, everybody. We're in the Neon Garage, and Kyle Busch is coming up next. Well, this was a special moment in Victory Lane. The 2 hometown heroes from Las Vegas, the 2 racing Busch brothers. And there comes Mom in for a kiss and a hug. And you know what? That was a pretty special Victory Lane among families, because this racing deal is a big family affair anyway. Kyle Busch joins us now. And Kyle, you told us this morning that you had to approach this just like any other race. But now that you got this victory, is it just like any other victory, or just how special is this one?
Man, I was nervous the last 30 laps. I was shaking inside the car. I'm glad we ran that many caution laps, because I don't think I could have hit my marks that many times. It was pretty nerve-wracking, but you know what? This is so cool. This is an awesome way to win here in the hometown and in front of the home fans and all that stuff. And to be able to have Kurt here, come to Victory Lane, Mom here, she was shedding tears. So it was definitely pretty awesome. And this is Vegas, man. Woohoo!
Yeah.
Vegas.
I like it that you're happy. We don't see a lot of happiness in Victory Lane. So what are you thinking, man? I mean, you're in Vegas. I know this is your hometown. What do you think you're going to do now? I mean, where are you going to go? What are you going to do?
Well, all the airplanes are grounded in North Carolina because of the weather, so we're going to party it up somewhere.
Well, you're in the right place, man.
We are in the right place. So I don't know where we're going, but we got to figure it out. So I had tickets for a show tonight, but I think them are going to be used up sitting here doing media stuff. So
Hey,
you put on a hell of a show yourself.
Yeah, we just saw a show. You know, Kyle, starting on the pole, you had to be devastated. Not devastated. You had to be a little bothered by saying, man, I got to go to 43rd spot. What were your concerns when the start of this race?
just the concerns were from yesterday, you know, all the wrecks and stuff that were happening, to be able to, you know, pick our way through there, not get caught up in anything, not get mixed up in a wreck or something like that. And then to be able to just, you know, bide our time. You know, we were so loose in the beginning of the race that I was just barely hanging on sometimes. And so it was really cool the way that we were just able to work on the car and do a little bit here, a little bit here, a little bit here. We just kept making it better. And fortunately, Steve and all these guys did a phenomenal job. And we got the thing where the M&M's Toyota was humming there at the end. And, you know, it was going. And we ran those guys down and caught them. So at least we didn't win it by coming off a pit road first. You know, we actually drove by some guys.
Kyle, there were a record amount of cautions. We've seen so many blown motors today, so many wrecks. I mean, you had motor problems. That's why you went to the back. I mean, what did you think? Did you?
And I wrecked yesterday.
Yeah, but yeah,
you got it out of your system.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I've already pointed out you've won in all three divisions already.
Yeah.
But I mean, all these cautions, all these blown motors. Were you thinking in the back of your head? Did you have any doubt about your motor?
No, I didn't have any doubt about ours. You know, I felt like ours was pretty good. I'm confident in Mark Cronquist and all those guys over at JGR. And, you know, Toyota's been really working hard on trying to figure out what's been going on with the rest of the motors from TRD, Costa Mesa. And we know it's a lifter problem in the coating. I think what they did is they started coating them in bigger batches, and they didn't change the formula. So there's not enough coating getting on each one of them if they're making more of them at a time. So, you know, we found out that hopefully that's our problem and that we won't have it anymore.
I'll be darned.
Hey, Kyle, let's listen really quickly to your radio when you made that last pass. And there was a reference on there that we've been stealing all night. Let's listen to this.
All right.
Say good night, Gracie.
Yep.
Now, Kyle, how does somebody your age know what Goodnight Gracie means?
I didn't say that.
He was
It was Dickerson.
Did you know what he meant?
I didn't know. All I knew was like Gracie Lou Freebush from whatever that show. What's that movie called?
It's probably one they had.
Congeniality.
Miss Congeniality.
It
Yeah.
probably wasn't the George Burns reference that we all got.
I don't know what it means.
But anyway, it meant that you guys were out in front and you're never going to give it up.
Well, we weren't. You know, it's going to be awfully hard for anybody to get by us. You know, we were going to make that thing pretty wide, but we didn't have to.
You're smiling more than I've ever seen you smile right now.
Well, good.
You're happy.
I am. This is awesome.
Yes.
How much did you learn from last year's devastation at the end that you're taking? Because you have a whole different attitude right now than you had last year at this time.
Well, I mean, I learned quite a bit from it because Friday I would have just thrown my helmet down and stomped my feet, you know. But the guys, as soon as we pulled in, they were working and they were working hard. They didn't want the motor to blow up, you know, so they were working on changing it and getting it ready for the final practice. We didn't get any more practice. We went out there, we qualified on the poles. So I think I've learned a lot. You know, I've changed quite a bit, and, you know, more I'm just taking things day at a time and, you know, letting things come to me as they come to me. And when we have bad days, you know, I guess there's really nothing you can do about it. You know, it's just like yesterday. We had a bad day, and you had to put that behind you, come out there today. And I thought because of how loose I was all day today, I thought that was me. I'm like, man, I got to man up here. I got to drive this thing. You know, it's not that loose. You know, I kept telling myself, it's not that loose, but
I love it.
It was still pretty loose.
Fans, that's maturity. The rest of the competition, be careful.
Kyle, congratulations,
Thanks.
man. Way to go. Great job. You got a win on your home track.
Hey, man, thanks.
We got to take another break here from the Neon Garage. Racing question from Ask.com, the official search engine of NASCAR. Who won the first Las Vegas 400 in 1998? If you want the answer now, go to Ask.com, where NASCAR fans get answers. We are back here in the Neon Garage at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway in one of the funnest victory lanes there is. Can I say funnest? Is that a word?
Yeah.
Anyway, it doesn't matter right now because everybody's having a ball down here.
Coach said yeah.
Yeah, and this was one of the best we've ever seen Kyle. Remember last year Kyle had trouble getting the cork out of the champagne a lot. No trouble for Kyle today. Want to welcome in Coach Joe Gibbs. And Coach, I really believe it was you that I heard say this years ago as head coach of the Redskins, that the best thing you can have in athletics is a bad memory. You got to put behind you what bad happens. And that's exactly what your race team did today when they had to go to the back of the pack.
Yeah, well, we did. I felt the whole weekend, think about it, Kyle, we blow a motor, crazy deal. He turns around with 5 laps, goes, sits on the pole. And there were things that happened in the race, too, that kind of set us back. I really think Kyle is maturing. He handles things so much better. I really think he kind of, when the crew chief now, he'll call you a few names if the car's not real good.
That's a good athlete.
That happened in the middle of the race. If that thing's off a little bit, he's going to call Steve some names. Then we settle down for a little while and we're ready to go.
And I guess that's what I want to get at, Joe, that, you know, when you look at your success in football, the championship rings and all, you have gone through this. And I believe that this guy, if he goes to any other team, he does not have the success he has because of your leadership and your whole organization.
Well, I don't know about that, but I can tell you this. I think he's taken real serious, you know, some of the things that have happened in his past, this whole year when he started out. Matter of fact, I had a number of the media people come to me and go, hey, Kyle, he's really handled things extremely well this year. And, you know, he's young, you know, and I think that's great. He's got obviously he's very talented. The other thing, he's real smart, you know, when you talk to him. I think he gets it, you know. Now, sometimes he'll say, hey, I make mistakes, you know what I mean? But I've really been proud of him. And to think that we started off last year, you know, new manufacturer, new driver, new sponsor. And to have, you know, M&M's, you know, to have them get all, I get excited about this sport for this reason. They gamble and come with you, give you a lot of resources. And then to see them get in return what they really paid for, you know, it's been great. And it's more than that with them, it's relationships. They've treated our whole team so, they welcome everybody in. They have parties at Daytona with everybody. They bring all of our crew, you know, lots of times that doesn't happen. It has been great, a great relationship for all the people at Mars. We appreciate it so much. And I think that's one of the things I get a thrill out of in racing, as opposed to some of the other sports. We got sponsors here. Yeah, I got Norm, you know, original sponsor.
Awesome.
You get great relationships, you build those, and it goes on for a long time. And the other thing, I think our drivers understand, they represent corporations. You know, they can't be getting in trouble. They're corporate representatives over here. I love that part of our sport. I really do.
First of all, great draft pick with this kid. I don't know if you've seen this coming. I know we all did not see this coming. All those wins last year. Jeff Gordon on Network TV today, our affiliate Fox, said that when the car's right, he's never seen anybody in the history of this sport. This is big. Jeff Gordon says he's never seen anybody in the history of this sport as good as Kyle Busch.
Well, I think that's, you know, to have the owners or somebody else say something about a driver, I really think when the other drivers say something, it does mean a lot, particularly somebody like Jeff. And, you know, I think Kyle, like I said, I think one of the things that I really appreciate about him, I think he studies things. I think when he makes a mistake or something happens, he's very, very smart. And the other thing, if you listen to him in the car, he is real good at telling Steve, hey, I think we need this, this, and this. You know, he's very, very bright about cars. He's worked on them. And the other thing, his whole life is racing. I mean, he got 7 late models. Yep. You know, I ask him, what's he doing? You know what I mean? He's either in a car, a dune buggy, racing. You know what I mean?
That's right.
Nothing else. There's nothing else in there. And right now, I think that's good. Now, if we can just get him really in debt, where he's got to race hard, he'll be in good shape.
Coach, congratulations. Way to go. Thank you for your time tonight, and keep up the good work.
Thanks, Eric. Thanks, Kenny.
All right, they're on the board.
Man. Thanks.
Joe Gibbs Racing is on the board one race earlier than they were last year, because remember, Kyle's first of 8 came at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Let's take a look at the finishing order in the Shelby 427. What a great job by Bobby Labonte, David Reutimann, Jeff Burton, and Clint Boyer to get top 5s.
Yeah, we have to agree with that on Clint Boyer. What a good job for that new team from Childress Racing.
Hey, we can talk about Joey Logano all we want, but what about David Gilliland with a start-up team?
No sponsor.
He might make it in the top 35 in the points. He keeps this.
We also want to talk about Joey, too.
And Marcus Ambrose, and that is Joey Logano did what he was supposed to do.
Great job.
Top 15 finish. Good job. Scott Speed, Denny Hamlin, rough day today. Kurt Busch with a blown engine. Jimmy Johnson, we saw what happened to him at the end.
Mark Martin back in the 40th spot. He thought he had a car that could win this thing, but don't count Mark Martin out anytime soon. That's just 2 engine failures in 2 races.
And this is shock, Johnny. You know, David Reutimann, Matt Kenseth, the point leader, last.
Yeah, you don't see that very often, but that's what happens. Sometimes you go from first to worst pretty quickly, but Jeff Gordon, Clint Boyer, and Matt Kenseth now occupy the 3 top spots. With the way Matt started the season off, to only be 40 back right now, it still says a lot about what he did the first 2
A lot of strange things happening already. 3rd race of the season. We have David Reutimann 5th. We got Jeff Gordon not leading the points since 2007. You know, here's Kurt Busch, didn't make it last year. How about the new startup team, Tony Stewart, Kenny?
And I'm going to tell you what, Clint Boyer is right now carrying the banner for Childress Racing. 3 top 10s in a row.
All right, so nice job by all these drivers to gain some points tonight, but let's talk about protecting the win, our Valvoline section of the show. And there was nobody who protected this win like Kyle Busch on the final restart of the night. It was Goodnight Gracie. After he pulled ahead, there was no catch in this hometown hero as he got his win at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Welcome back, everybody, to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. If you're looking for some good news and all the bad news we've heard over the last couple of weeks, here's one thing. First of all, this place was a sellout today. Capacity crowd at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway. And also, you got to be happy for Bobby Labonte and the number 96 team that wasn't even in existence until a couple of months before the season started. He finished in the 5th position, and after the race, he spoke with Bob Dillner.
Bobby Labonte signing autographs for the fans after an awesome run here at the Las Vegas Motor Speedway, and thought we might be talking to you in Victory Lane. There about 10, 15 laps to go. What happened?
Well, I mean, we were in really good shape there behind Kyle, and you know, I think we could have made it the rest of the way. You know, had a really fast race car right there, and just being really conservative with everything, the tires, and wasn't really pushing it that hard. And then we came in and we got our 2 tires, and when we left pit road, I mean, the 48 was coming in. And I tried to clear him, you know, as fast as I could, but, you know, obviously just the timing, and unfortunately we just kind of came together. We didn't come together, but we came at the same time. That might have cost me a spot or 2, not a whole lot. You know, I think the 33 stayed out. You know, I don't know, we're sure the 31 got gas only or whatever, but whatever the case was, we chose to get 2, and it's a great call. We just didn't get enough green flag runs there at the end, and but we did pass a couple cars, and like I said a while ago, I mean, we passed hard on the bottom. I mean, you know, and it's so hard to do when a guy's on your right rear to clear, you know what I mean, because it takes the air off your wing. And I mean, you see a lot of guys get loose that way here at Vegas, so we were able to do that, and we were making, you know, we were marching forward there. The 99 had a problem. I got by the 24. I was going after the 00 on the, I wasn't sure if it was a white or checkered, but we finished 5th, and, you know, just really great. You know, so I mean, we're looking forward to Atlanta. We had a lot of great positives today, so I'm excited.
5th place run. Sounds good on paper, but really, what does it mean to you and this team?
Well, I mean, I think it just, you know, gives us a little. One thing we talked about early in the year was obviously the first 5 races. We need to get some points and stuff like that. Well, you know, we've got 2, a 22nd, a 20th, and now a 5th. So, I mean, that should help us out in points for race 4 and 5 here. And, you know, obviously that's a key thing, but obviously the factor we got to have, we need to build that momentum. And we got confidence built in the team right now. And I'm so excited about that, you know, I feel like, you know, I've got a good feel for this race car now that I've run a few races in it, that, you know, yeah, I'm gonna make my mistakes and screw up and stuff like that, but I feel like we've got a lot of great things that we're gonna do here. So, you know, I've got we set some pretty high goals, so we're just gonna get through the first 5 here and make sure we don't mess up.
And going to Atlanta next week, Bobby Labonte, always one of the best at that track.
And Bobby, you bring a great point up. Bobby Labonte, very successful in Atlanta. But I want to talk about Jack Roush. Talking to him in Daytona, he told me he was going to put his thumbprint, his DNA, into that organization. He moves Larry Carter over there. He puts Todd Parrott under the microscope. You got to change. You got to change. They have changed this organization without a question. And you know, Bobby Labonte, let's face it, the guy can wheel a race car. He is a past champion.
Hey, Bobby Labonte texted me during the winter. He says, Kenny, for the first time in my life, I didn't think I was going to have a ride for the Daytona 500. Now he finishes 5th. Talk about what can happen in 1 or 2 days.
Again, you want some good news? There it is. So Bobby Labonte got his top 5 finish.
Roush got that baby down on.
And I think there's some Roush DNA in that car and some Yates horsepower as well. We're going to take another break here, but when the work week ends, the NASCAR action on speed is just getting fired up with the most coverage from Atlanta. Grab a front row seat on all the weekend's NASCAR action, beginning with NASCAR Live Friday morning at 11 a.m. Eastern. There's the winning car in post-race tech. And you know, outside the NASCAR Cafe here in Las Vegas, there's a roller coaster. And it's only appropriate because these NASCAR weekends can be a roller coaster ride of emotions. And that's exactly what happened to David Reutimann. Through the ups and the downs, he finished on an up note. Let's go back to Bob Dillner.
What a day for David Reutimann, from the back of the pack to the front, and a top 5 finish. You must be tickled pink.
Yeah, I'm absolutely, you know, thrilled with the way our day started out and having to go to the back. Had a great qualifying run and had to go back there. And then, you know, Rodney Childers said, just keep calm and we'll keep working on this thing and we'll get the air and stream machine up front. And then we developed an oil leak at the midpoint of the race, and the guys came in and got that fixed. And you know, we went back out there and that put us back about 25th or 30th, and we kind of ran back up through there, and just one at a time. And again, just everybody did a great job. I mean, I can't, you know, it's such a team effort all the way around, from Aaron's as sponsor to Toyota to, you know, Rodney Childers, and everybody, you know, had great pit stops. I had everything we needed today to run up front. And when you have those pieces in place, and you can actually do that on occasion. So it's not as easy as it looks for some of these guys, but, you know, like Kyle Busch makes it look like he can just walk out there and finish in the top 5. But, you know, for a young organization, I'm really proud of what we've done.
You talk about a young organization, but what does it mean to David Reutimann and his family with this great finish here today?
Oh, it's pretty awesome. I mean, it is really awesome. It feels really, really good. And just, again, to give back to Aaron's, they've taken a big leap of faith with me, and I wanted to be able to go out there and run good and get them the exposure and run it front, because they're a great sponsor. And on top of that, my dad destroyed his dirt modified during Speed Week, so I got to buy him a new one, so this helps out a little bit.
All right, that's Buzzy Reutimann, the famous modified driver from the Southeast and the Northeast. Great run for David Reutimann.
The biggest story in the garage area, it's kind of a hidden secret, is that matchups now. Look at Bobby Labonte and look at Parrott. I mean, you're looking at this guy, Rodney Childers and David Reutimann. We're seeing drivers that people thought, well, maybe he can't do it. Then all of a sudden comes along a crew chief that maybe didn't do good with another driver. It's matching up. That seems to be the new hot topic in the garage area. Rodney Childers, along with David Reutimann, breeding a lot of confidence. Look, he was really fast last week, too. So I think this guy here is going to be a good top 15 in the points. And also, it's going to help this whole organization. Remember, Michael Waltrip came out of California last week, 7th in the points, and plus Marcus Ambrose is running good. They're getting a lot of smart people getting the combination together there on that team.
And quickly, Booty Barker there, John.
Yep.
Important part of Michael Waltrip.
Yep, you got to have the right people around you. I think that every weekend, you know, you got to have the right people around you. We'll be back in just a moment as Kyle Busch continues to sign autographs. You know, David Reutimann's best finish before today was a 9th at California last year. He bettered that by 5 positions.
NASCAR Victory Lane is presented by Travelodge. Recreate, hibernate.
Welcome back to Victory Lane, everybody. You know, the vast majority of the tracks we'll see for the rest of this year are similar in layout to this Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So, guys, we ask you now, does that mean that Kyle Busch has made a serious statement about what's going to go on the rest of this year?
Starting 43rd today, all the way up to win this race. No surprise. He's the only one, I think, that didn't leave off. A lot of new faces, though, Johnny. The 99 wasn't as strong as he needed to be the last 2 weeks. 24, new face, because he's a lot stronger the last 2 races. You know, Matt gets it blowing up. I thought a lot more would happen with Mark Martin. How about this David Reutimann? How about a lot of these guys, Kenny? A lot of new stories developing here. I'm excited about going to Atlanta next week.
Kyle Busch has won at Bristol, short track. He's won at Sears Point, road course. He's won at Daytona, Talladega. He's won everywhere. He's the man of the mountain. He's just got to try to finish it off at the race for the chase, the last 10 races. Last year, he didn't do that.
And in honor of the late, great Paul Harvey, I think Mr. Kenny Wallace has a news flash for us.
Tick, 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 tick. Major story in the garage area. This is true. All NASCAR team planes have been grounded. Major storm in the east in Charlotte. We can't get there tonight. But you heard Kyle say it. Nobody can leave right now because can't get to Charlotte.
It's over. Who cares?
Woo, let's
We're
party.
in Vegas.
Order
We're
more
going to
beer.
party. And you know what, fans? It'll be all gone. We're going to Atlanta next week. One of my favorite tracks. We always see great finishes. Let's face it.
What'll be all gone, Jimmy? The beer?
The snow.
Oh, the snow. I thought you were talking
It's
about
going
the
to
beer.
be, heck with it, man. We're talking Atlanta.
Hey.
I'm excited. The
Real
top
quick.
35's tightening up.
Real quick, there's about 5 inches of snow in Atlanta right now, but it will be gone by next Friday.
Yeah, so, hey, if you want to get a bargain on a race ticket, head down to Atlanta. It'll be your best chance to get a great seat to see a great race at the Atlanta Motor Speedway. Want to say thanks in a big way to the Las Vegas Motor Speedway for being so hospitable to us on Speed this weekend and for everybody on Team Speed. I'm John Roberts saying thanks for coming along for the ride. Let's look in the rearview mirror.
I'm just gonna stay here with these two ladies. You guys are pretty. I like your feathers.
I'm not famous enough like Ryan Newman.
I'm not gonna disagree.
Next time.
I want you to understand that the man behind the wheel is Jimmy Spencer, not just some fan I found at the racetrack.
Yeah, go Digger. It's your birthday. Go Digger.
Here you are at this racetrack. Okay, here comes the other corner.
Big, you know that they get the big money.
I got him lined up here, Wendy.
This is a battle for the lead right here. Kyle Busch in that 18 car set on the pole, had to go to the rear of the field. He's going to drive by Jeff Burton to take the lead with 57 laps to go.
Dodge, dive, duck, dodge.
And Wild Thing is going to win again. Yeah, baby. Down. Welcome to Victory Las Vegas. One more time.
I don't know where I get credited for winning this thing from, whether it's from the back or from the pole, but either way, we conquered both of them, that's for sure.